All right, welcome back. This is just a continuation of the last video with some of that procedural generation. And these are the algorithms that I've been working on. So it's not some big secret here. I just went to Rogue Basin and looked up how to do this. So the general process was fill the whole map with something solid, dig out a single room, pick a wall of any room, decide on a new feature to build, see if there's room to add the features. If yes, continue. If not, then go back and pick a different wall, etc. and try it at least 1,000 times. The computer can handle that. You can see in mine that it's not too difficult. And so I've set it up here so that you can see this, and I'm just going to run it. It's set to just generate 2 rooms at the start. So there'll be 2 rooms here at the start. When I push the A key, that adds a new room on. So it's picked this wall here and added a new room here and then carved through. So it's connected those 2 there, and then it's done the same down here. Now it's just picking randomly. It's not going to follow this path. I mean, it is at the moment, but it might go up and do a wall off here now. Well, it seems to be down here again. There we go, off that side. And as I hit A, it just keeps on going, adding rooms until there's no space to add rooms anymore. And it may be, you can see there's a bit of a delay sometimes. That's possibly because it's printing out errors down here, but it's actually trying to calculate where the next room can go. And eventually I'm going to get, pretty soon, it's not going to be able to add any new rooms. It's trying to, like that's the last place it tried to add a room. And the way I've written the code, it draws that in. But I mean, when I hit A again, that'll go back to green. It just draws that there. I probably should have drew it a different color. Okay, so that goes back to green. It's tried to add one out here, but hasn't worked. Tried to add one here, it hasn't worked. So we're running out of spaces. There's not really anything I can do anymore. But every single one of these rooms is now connected. And I mean, I can hit C and it will just put in that mess of kind of, I guess, ruins or whatever you want to call it. And I could hit C again and it ruins down here. So I can make some interesting procedurally generated dungeon scenes or spaceship scenes or whatever it is that I'm looking for in that game. Of course, there's limitations to this. This is pretty much just rooms. Most of these rooms are rectangles. I'm going to add ellipses in there next. But I mean, the code itself is not that complicated. I'm not going to show you all the code because I feel that, and it sometimes freezes when I exit. I'm not sure why. There we go. There's a lot of stuff happening. I need to clear it up. I can show you this bit here. Okay, this is just setting it up, setting up some variables, randomizing it so I don't get the same one every time. That shouldn't say generate grid there. It should say it down here. And don't need to worry about complete. I didn't use it. I've just got a room count. So down here I've said while the room count is less than 2 and attempts is less than 1,000. So it goes through this process. It finds a random wall with only one neighbor, and that's what that script up there does. Checks to see if the random wall has only one neighbor, so it's not like got 2 rooms either side of it. Then I've got a direction. Find out which direction are we actually going. So if the existing one is to the left, then we're going to be going to the right. That's where we're going to put our new room. If the existing one is to the south, then we're going to be putting our new room to the north. Then I've got here my add room function. It returns 1 if it's true. Okay, so if it was successful. If it wasn't successful, it doesn't do this, and it doesn't add to the room count. It does increase the attempts. So in this case, I can make 25 rooms, and it has 1,000 attempts to do that. If it can't do it in 1,000 attempts, it's probably not going to do it at all, and it just gives up. And then it cleans up. This goes through and just makes sure that walls and stuff are connected. I also just quickly made this script here that whenever I push A, it attempts to add a new room as well. So going back to here, if add room, and I can go into here, I showed you this one before. It has 10 attempts to find a room that will fit that. Now I might turn this up 8, 9, and we'll have some big rooms in here. 8, 9, and 10. And I might also go, well, why not 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. We'll have a whole range of different room sizes in here. So if the direction is west, then we move the position that we're going to start drawing from to the position, like the top left corner of the room. And we set that up, and then down here, we check. I'm checking, is there anything in that area? And I'm using DS grid functions here, and I've set 2 is the like the uncut space, 0 is empty, 1 is wall. And so if the minimum in this region is 2, well, there mustn't be any walls, there mustn't be any uncut space. So that's good. I can put stuff there. So I set the outside part to the wall, and I set the inside part to the room area. Return 1 to say that it was successful. Otherwise, I just increase the attempts by 1 and go back up. Only 10 attempts this time, and then it will try and find another location. So if it can't fit a room in, it will try to find another location for it. Okay, so this isn't looking too good, and I may have messed something up there. I'm not sure what I changed, but you can see it's looking a bit hideous in there. So I may go back and fix that. Whatever I've done has changed a few things, and so it's not looking as good as it did before. I'll go back into there. It was in the add room bit. I might just take some of those off. We'll go back to 7, and I'll take off the 1s. It's probably the 1s that are doing it, because you get really thin hallways. I think the 3s and the 4s as well, or maybe the 3. So I'll just go with 4, 5, 6, 7, see if that fixes it. When you get a room of size 1, it can't really draw the walls. Yeah, so there we go. That's fixed it up. If I wanted to have rooms of size 1, well, what I need to do is set the minimum to 3. So that'll get a wall, and then the inside bit, and then another wall on the other side. So if I do that. So this is just an interest video. It's not a tutorial. Feel free to try and replicate it, or come up with your own ideas. So the location for this here, this was the random walk algorithm that I got. It's really simple. Start off with that, and then think about, how can you do that, and add stuff in using the random walk generation. And then dungeon building algorithm is a bit more complicated, but it's kind of that next level up. And there's examples in code down the bottom here. A C# example, a C++ example. I mean, I've got a Gamemaker example, and mine's just kind of hacked together. It's not particularly well done. It does work. And there's lots of other different types of algorithms. So for building dungeons, for building rooms, and they're really cool.